Hello, children. Good morning again. I welcome you to your English class. And today, what we have picked is the second part of the poem, The Road Not Taken. Actually, the first half is already explained in the first video. And I told you that I'm going to take up another video, shoot another video for explaining the other half of the poem. So before we move on, let's check with the full clip of the poem. See here, the poem is in 4 stanzas. Stanza number 1 and 2 are already explained in detail, and today we're gonna pick stanza number 3 and stanza number 4. Children, at the end of this slide, I have given you the homework questions which you are supposed to do in your fair copies. In case you do not have any fair material to write, no need to worry. You can always write the answers in the pages from your last year's copy, and as and when you get the material, you can do homework questions in your fair copy. Actually, some questions are from NCERT textbook also. Okay, so see here the poem The Road Not Taken. We start directly from stanza number 3. Now, we already know that in stanza 1, poet speaks of what? The dilemma of choosing one road when he was faced with what? Two different choices. He came across a road one day which split in two, and he was confused which particular path to take. Okay, in second stanza he spoke about taking his decision, like he pondered long over the first road and then looked at the second road also, and thought that maybe the second road is a better choice for him, because he thought the second road is grassy and wanted, where the second road he felt had more opportunities, so he picked the second road. But now let's see here in stanza number 3. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. See here, children, in stanza number 3, poet is speaking about which particular road he took that day. See here in line number 1, the poet says, and both that morning equally lay. Both that morning. Which particular morning writer is talking about? Robert Frost is talking about that morning when he had to decide on, the decision day actually. So he says the morning when he had to take decision, he felt that both the choices are equally laying before him. He says in leaves no step had trodden black. He felt both the roads exactly are same, and the leaves in leaves no step had trodden black. First of all, what do you mean by the word trodden? Yes, trodden means walked over, and black here suggests what? The color of the leaves. He says the color of the leaves was what? The color was still green. No step had trodden black means nobody had walked over that path which could have turned what? The leaves to black here. Both the paths had leaves, and no one had walked, stepped over them, as the leaves were still green in color. Obviously, if anyone had walked over the path, they would have turned, the leaves would have turned what? Black. Now in next line, see, oh, I kept the first for another day. See here the word oh. Stress is there on the word oh. Oh suggests what here? Yes, that poet is not very happy of taking one road. He wanted to explore actually both, but he says, oh, I kept the first for another day. The first one, what is the first one here? Yes, the first one is the first road, and another day means maybe some other day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. The poet says that he's very sad that he cannot explore both the roads and has to choose only one. The poet says that he is keeping the first road for which day? Maybe some other day. Although he knows very well that it is not possible for him to come back and change the decision what he is making, because he knows, yet knowing how way leads on to way, it means once we take any path, the path takes us to what? Another things in life. We move on with our life, and there is hardly a chance that we can ever come back and change the important decision of our life. The poet says that he is keeping the first path for another day, although he knew that it is not possible to come back ever and change his life decisions. The poet says that he is very doubtful whether he would be ever able to retrace his steps back and come back to the same point in his life. Children, very similarly in our lives also. Once you start walking over a path, life keeps on moving. Life takes you on a journey and it keeps on moving with its pace. Never gives you a chance to come back and live the option, the road that you had left earlier. So, what important lesson we get from this line? Yes, we must be very careful, very precautious, very wise and prudent in taking what? Important life decisions. Because once we take any decision, we cannot come back and change it. Check here with the next slide. See here the rhyming scheme used in this stanza. Again, the last word of first line is lay, then black, day, way, and back. Check with line number 1, 3 and 5 like other stanzas. Lay, day, way. Line 1, 3 and 5 are rhyming, and black and back line 2 and line 5 are rhyming. So like other two stanzas, the rhyming scheme of this stanza also is what? A, B, A, B. Very good. Now let's check with the next slide. See the last stanza, children, here. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. The most beautiful two lines of the poem. I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Difference. See here the first line. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Sigh. What do you mean by the word sigh here? Sigh means taking a deep breath. Okay. So the poet says that he may be telling about all this, this dilemma of taking a particular choice with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence. Ages and ages means maybe after some years, maybe in future. Hence here is after. Maybe in future somewhere he'll be telling to people around him about his decision day, about his dilemma, taking a deep breath. What he will be telling? That yes, two roads diverged in a wood. That one day he came across what? The two roads, and both were diverging where? In the wood. And what did he do when he came across the two roads? What he would be telling to future generations or somewhere to the people in future? In his future? Maybe that I took the one less traveled by. That what did he take? He took the road that was less traveled by. Less traveled by means that was challenging, means that had more opportunities. He took the one which was walked by very less number of people, and that choice of his has made all the difference. It means whatever difference has come in his life today, that is because of the road what he took that day. He says that the decision of choosing the road that day, the second road that day, has decided his future. Whatever his life is in present, that is because of the decision what he took that day. What decision he took that day? Yes, leaving the first road and choosing the second one. Had the poet chosen another road, that is the first road, his life would have been completely different than what it is today. Similarly, children, in future, what happens when we grow up and look back at our life? You know, we think over what? The time when we had to take important decisions. We say what we are today is because of the choice we made maybe somewhere in the past. Again, the important message is always be wise and careful and making your life decision, as the future depends on the choices that we make and that we make in present. So if you have to make your life worthwhile, please make good decisions. Let's see the literary devices that are used in this stanza. Again, check with the last word in each line. Sigh, hence, I, by, difference. Sigh, I, by. Line number 1, 3 and 5 are rhyming. A, A, A. And hence, difference. Hence, difference. Line number 2 and line number 5 are rhyming. So the rhyming scheme of the stanza is also what? A, B, A, A, B. Check with another figure of speech, that is literary device, that is used in this stanza is repetition. Now what is repetition? Repetition is just the repetition of random words or random lines in the poem. See here, somewhere ages and ages hence. Can you check line number 2, the word ages and ages? Two words are repeated. So the rhyming scheme used here is what? Repetition. Yes. Not only this, check with this line here, line number 3. Two roads diverged in a wood. Now, two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Can you recall the first line of stanza number 1? Yes. The line number 1 there and line number 3 here are repeated in the poem. So here the figure of speech used is what? Repetition. Okay. So let's see. Here is the quick recap of what? The literary devices that are used in the poem. The rhyming scheme of the poem throughout is what? Line number 1, 3 and 5 rhyming, and line number 1, 3 and 4 rhyming, and 2 and 5 rhyming. So throughout the poem the rhyming scheme followed is A, B, A, A, B. The second literary device that is used in the poem is what? Simile. A simile is a device that is used to compare things with the use of words what? As or like. Can you remember? The second stanza, first line, then took the other as just as fair like the first one. So here is simile. Imagery again, the use of words which help you create what? The pictures in your mind about the background setting or about the background of the scene. That is yellow wood, undergrowth, diverged roads. These words are helping us to recreate what? The picture in our mind. Another device used is what? Metaphor. The thing that is symbolic of something else. As the name suggests, the road not taken. The road here is what? Not the road. The road here is symbolic of what? The two choices. Okay. Now see here, these three figures of speeches. I hope you are able to read this. Alliteration, repetition, and anaphora. All these three figures of speeches are some special kind of repetition. In all these three literary devices, kind of repetition is used. How? That we'll see. See here in alliteration. Alliteration is what? The repetition of first sound of words. Like in wanted, where. The sound repeated is w. the W sound. Wanted, where. So repetition of first sound is what? Alliteration. Repetition is what? The repetition of random words in a poem, randomly anywhere. Like ages and ages, like the line two roads diverged in a yellow wood, repeated in stanza 1 and stanza number 4. So that's a repetition. Now check here, anaphora. Anaphora is a special kind of a repetition. This is also a repetition, but a very special kind of repetition. It's a repetition of a word or a phrase at the beginning of what? Consecutive lines of the poems. Like if you can recall stanza number 1, I'll just take you to stanza number 1. Just a second. Let me take you to stanza number 1. Yes, can you see stanza number 1 here? Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked down the one as far as I could. Check here with line number 2, 3 and 4. All three lines, consecutive lines, are starting from word what? And. Yes, this is what is our point of anaphora, the repetition of what? Word or a phrase at the beginning of consecutive lines of the poem. So and is repeated here in line number 2, 3 and 4, all three consecutive lines. So the figure of speech, the literary device that is used here is poetic device that is used here is what? Anaphora. Okay, so here was the recap of literary devices that are used in the poem. Now we are done with the poem, children. Here is the screen. You can check for the summary. You can always pause the screen here and can read it as many times as you want, but let me just once read it for you. In the poem The Road Not Taken, the poet Robert Frost says that once he was walking down the road and reached a fork. He could walk over one of the paths only. He took time to choose the right path. He inspected them to decide which was a better option and then choose the one which seemed less walked over. He kept the other one for some other day, although he knew very well that he would never get the chance to walk over it. He would go further on the chosen path and not get a chance to go back on it. As he walked on the chosen path, he realized that both the paths were similar. He felt that his future depended on what? The choice he made the other day. Okay. Children, in the starting of the video, I said that I'll be giving you some questions to practice. See here, can you see the screen? Yeah. Here are some questions you can check. All these questions you have to do in your fair copy. If you do not have fair copy with you, it's okay, no need to worry. You can write the answers like category 1, the answer is to be written in 30 words. Category 2, answer is to be written in 150 words. This you can do up in your pages from your last year's copy, I guess, if you have, or in any other rough pages homework copy you can write. And as and when you get the fair material work, material, as you get the fair copies, you can write these answers in your fair copy. So first part has 3 questions. Where does the traveler find himself in the yellow wood, and what problems does he face? That you have to answer in 30 words. Then we have question number 2 that has 5 parts. You just have to explain in a sentence or 2 what these phrases mean, like a yellow wood, it was grassy and wanted where, the passing there, leaves no step had trodden black, how way leads on to way. These are 5 different points that you have to answer in a sentence or 2 or 3. The next one is explain the lines. I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. That also you have to answer in 30 to 40 words. Now here see point number B. This particular answer you have to write in around 120 to 150 words. Write the central idea of the poem, The Road Not Taken. You can pause the screen here and can click the picture of the screen, and please do complete this exercise in your copies. Okay, so here was the explanation of the other half of the poem. If you wish to go back and check again with the explanations, you can check video number 1, the part 1 for the first two stanza explanation, and this is part 2 for second part. Okay, stay tuned for the next poem next week. Till then, okay, goodbye. Take care.